Hi, everybody. Good morning and blessings. Thank you so much for stopping by and jumping into some amazing classes that we're having today. My name is Jordan Attarian. I run a beautiful little metaphysical business called Violet Imagery, and I'm here today to teach you a bunch of amazing creative journaling and drawing techniques that I personally use in all of the books that I have created, for the decks that I've created, the whole nine yards. These prompts really deepened my own understanding of the cards, my own wisdom, my own intuition, and the ability to kind of break past that feeling of being stuck on a certain answer or a certain topic when you know the cards are talking to you, but you can't find the words or the thoughts to kind of put them into an actual answer or an actual message. Or just in general, these prompts are also absolutely amazing for just in general shadow work. So once you learn these different activities and these different prompts, they are, I use them every day. I use them every single day. So, throughout the class, I am going to give everybody an opportunity to actually do some of the prompts. I do have the downloadable packet that I made, which has the prompts we're going to work on today, as well as tons of extra goodies because I'm extra. Leo moon forever. So we're going to jump right on in. And if there's any problem on the Zoom and let me know. I'm a Zoom newbie, so I'm just gonna do my absolute best. Um, so these techniques allow you to connect and reconnect the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. It is very, very easy for those two things to become disconnected. And I think the subconscious mind is truly where so much of our intuition and our abilities to connect and communicate with spirit and the cards and the images really comes from. These techniques will also help you learn how to ask yourself, the cards, and spirit the right questions and also understand the answers. The perfect moment to know when you're stuck is when all you can think the answer is I don't know. I don't know is a placeholder for kind of not being able to break past that barrier, that veil, if you will, between the conscious and the subconscious space. And then once you break through, it's like, whew, this flood of wisdom. And I'm here to teach you a variety of different tools that you can use in so many different ways once you learn how to use them. And we're just going to create a beautiful, intuitive space together today. Um, and since we all know and love tarot, oracle, and the magical world itself, I think we all really know and comprehend the power of words and images, whether alone or combined. And words and images impact us in not just many ways, I would say every ways. They're the very thing that create our life experience and our perceptions. They can even manipulate and change our perceptions. Look at social media, other people. The simple words that somebody can say to you can either impact your day greatly in a good way or not so much. Um, and this is why tarot and oracle is so powerful because it's a way to take control back and reframe these things to heal and empower yourself rather than letting them control you. And I think that's the purpose of having such a beautiful connection with specific decks. You know, not everybody's drawn to Rider Waite, not everybody's drawn to the Thoth deck. We all, our spirit calls to very specific decks for very specific reasons. And I have definitely had my fair share of buying a deck, getting it, and being like, this wasn't the vibe that I thought it was going to be. So really, we're called to everything we're called to for a reason. So if you don't currently have a deck handy, I would definitely say to grab one, because throughout some of the prompts that we're going to be using, we're going to be pulling cards for ourselves. And, you know, it can be a tarot or an oracle deck, whichever one you choose. But really, this is a very simple process. You pull a card, or you have a specific question, or you're looking at a spread and you have something that you want to receive from it, or you want to dive deeper into it. Because sometimes cards can just give us a very surface level answer, and we're like, no, 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 clarification, please. This is a way to start communicating and gaining that clarification without necessarily adding more cards to the pile. So you can also even just pull a card from your mind, whichever one has kind of been sitting there on the tip of your tongue. And the next step is just doing whatever one of these techniques call to you, and then taking notes afterwards. I have a plethora of beautiful, shiny little notebooks that I have compartmentalized into very specific types of communication with different decks. As well as the shadow work that kind of comes out through those conversations. So taking notes is so important because it's something you can look back and truly see your own progress of your own understanding, your own healing through the shadow work and through the connection. And also, if you're using these techniques to help clients as well, these are amazing techniques to help clients also really dive deeper into their own reading. So it's not so much I'm giving you all these answers, it's I'm helping you find the answers for yourself. So it's amazing to have those notes and those suggestions. So we're going to jump right in. So if you don't have kind of like a notebook or anything like that, feel free to just jot some notes down instead of diving into the whole activity. Like I said, I did send in the whole downloadable packet. So anytime you get to download that, jump on right into these prompts. So the first one is an intuitive sprinting prompt. And this is writing anything and everything about the card or the message as fast as you can, not worrying about spelling or grammar. And when you do this, this allows you to have a flow of consciousness, which any flow of consciousness breaks past that filter that kind of stops you from getting down into that subconscious space. And when you don't stop to change words, fix mistakes, or think about what's going to come out next, it opens your mind to express things that the ego self does normally filters out. So it's an amazing way to really tune in and connect to that spiritual, intuitive space for yourself. And the prompt that we're going to dive into is, well, I'm just going to explain this one, and we'll dive a little deeper into some of the other prompts. But the one that I use for this is write as much as you can about the first card that pops to your mind. The message that you get, the new message that the card wants to give you. And I love setting just a timer for this and seeing how lost that you can truly get in that flow of consciousness. A lot of times I'll set a timer and then all of a sudden I have reset it like 3 or 4 times. And you realize you have a lot more to say about a circumstance than originally perceived. So this technique is amazing to really just get pass that filter and start that flow of consciousness. And in a shadow work aspect, I love using this kind of prompt to just kind of info dump and to like purge things out of my mental space. Because a lot of times that can get in the way of that filter as well, especially if you have trouble trying to go to sleep at night because of the racing thoughts. This is an amazing prompt to just. This could also be considered automatic writing as well, because you're letting that conscious flow through. So these are my favorites. We are going to do this one. You do not have to be a Picasso in order to get a lot of really deep, powerful messages from prompts like this. But this is a drawing prompt. So you're just going to focus on a card and just start drawing what images, symbols, and messages come to mind. And your eyes can either be open or closed. But this is all about trusting your gut. This is a trust the process kind of prompt. And it allows the right side of your brain to speak. There's a lot of times where that left side can really kind of take over, especially when you're either working with a new deck or a new medium and you're kind of like, guidebook information, it has to be, it has to make sense. But the drawing prompts really allow that intuitive, creative, and emotional side to be like, but this is what you feel about it. This is where your intuition draws you. And this allows information to come out in either a form of drawings or just scribbles, just want to really all over the page and then see what you see, almost like scrying, or looking in the clouds and seeing what you find in the clouds. It's the same thing. And it just helps you look deeper into abstract meanings and things. So it's almost like when you look at a card and you say, well, everybody's drawn to this pentacle, but I'm looking at this random other little detail down here. That's what's calling to you in that moment. Okay. So the we're going to dive into this. We're going to do all of the interactive parts kind of quick because you can do a lot of these on your own, but I'm going to do 3 minutes. So we're going to do 3 minutes, dive on in, and the prompt is draw yourself as a tarot card. Include words that represent your card, emotions you feel, and any other thoughts that come to your mind as you draw yourself as this card. Now, if you just kind of want to use like the symbolism of it all, it doesn't have to be like a full on self portrait as a card, but it could be if I was a card, what kind of symbolism would be used in my representation? Um, so for me, I always see the raven and some sort of amethyst crystal and this just magical book opening. And those are always kind of, if I'm referring and representing myself, I normally have one of those three objects that make their way into the image. So we're going to do 3 minutes starting now. And then we'll pick one to share because I definitely don't want to go over time. I know that lunch is after this, and that is a very important time of the day. So we'll do 3 minutes starting now, and I'm going to pop on back over to Zoom. And definitely remember, it's not about being a artist. It's about letting your creativity shine through. All right, one more minute, and then some brave spirit, please raise your hand to share in front of us all. Okay, does anybody want to share? If not, it's okay. I'm sure all of your art is beautiful, and thank you for participating. So let's just jump on
Yeah,
into.
yeah, I've got one on my graphics. Oh no, that's the wrong monitor. Hang on. Here, I did a quick squiggle on my
Yeah.
graphics tablet.
Okay. And what kind of like messages or what words do you use to represent this for
I
yourself?
totally tried to free it up and do it in a very surrealist manner,
Yeah,
a totally free drawing.
I love it. I love how the one eye kind of looks like there's a
Yeah,
pentacle in it.
yeah.
Very kind of like always seeing the opportunities that are being given.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
And
could go for that.
and that's exactly, once you start dissecting the art that you're
Yeah,
creating, you start seeing how deep everything starts to go.
yeah.
So, love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, 3 minutes was definitely, not the longest amount of time, but you can see how much can come out in a short period of time. So let's jump into the next one. So, this is called a spiritual springboard. And this is when you pick a word, any word, literally any word, and you spell it down the side of a page letter by letter. Just like in the example, you can see that it spells out wands going down the page. And then you're writing the first word or phrase that comes to your mind as long as it starts with that letter. So for wands, I came out with wanted to burn it down. Ask questions later. Not today, Satan. Don't play with fire. Start expressing the passion. So you can kind of see in this example that it's a little all over the place. Wands aren't always this beautiful, passionate, creative experience. Sometimes it's, I will quite literally burn the world down. um, so this activity allows you to discover any possible misconceptions in the way that you consciously or subconsciously understand a card or the energy of a word. Um, and however the words are used to describe this energy, some are negative, and that could create a misconceptions about what that word means. So it's kind of the struggle between what you think and how you feel about an image. And the other example that I love to use, which I think describes this very well, is if I springboard the word love, but L is losers, then no matter how much I consciously want to attract love into my life, subconsciously, I'm going to keep attracting losers because at the core, your subconscious mind actually controls 80% of your existence. The conscious is just a little itty bitty 20. it doesn't really have as much control. And that's why reconnecting them using these prompts and shadow work and healing and, learning these new things about yourself is so powerful, because it really allows you to be at 100% of, being able to access all of your information and your wisdom. So the prompt that I used for this one is finding deeper meaning to the tower. As a reader myself, this is one of the cards that once it comes out, everybody's like, oh no, the world's over. And it's like, yeah, this part of it, this particular area is over. And I think that, this is one of the cards that just has a lot of the fear mongering behind it. One of the cards that really makes people not want to get readings or to dive into the cards. And I think that using these prompts can really help you. If you ever have a card that comes out and you're like, oh, again, not this one again, you can use the springboard to really see, okay, what energy, besides this is going past the card's meaning. This is diving into what subliminal or subconscious energy is making me almost be avoidant to this particular card's energy. So you're just going to notice any sort of odd correlations, repetitions, and anything that stands out as weird in comparison to the normal meaning and messages that you do receive for this card. So for the tower, like normally it's a negative. I think tarot is very gray, very less black and white. But say you get winner for the W, rewards for the R. These are things that are letting you know, okay, yeah, it might be a mess. The building might be on fire, but this is your opportunity to jump on out into a better situation. So it can kind of help you see the underlying energies of cards that you're reading. So the next one, I really love this one too, because in a shadow work aspect, it can just be used in literally limitless amounts of ways. So this is an unsent letter. And this is writing a letter to a card that you pulled. And you can say anything you feel you've been misunderstanding, or even wishing the card had said but didn't. Or also just thanking the card for its wisdom. So this kind of creates a one-sided dialogue towards this card's energy. And my example that I used is, Dear Empress, I have not been feeling very divine recently. I wish you had told me how hard the feminine energy could be to embody sometimes, but thank you for always reminding me of my power. So this is another one of the things that it's allowing you to express words, thoughts, feelings without actually having to confront the energy face to face. And you can also write letters to yourself, write letters to Joe Schmo who did some, really messed up stuff 15 years ago. This is such a powerful prompt to use when you're trying to empower something or to release something. So it can really help you get that clogged headspace where it's super overly emotional and put it more into a direct focus of like, XYZ, here's why I love you and or hate you. Have a great day. And I love it also because after it turns itself into like almost like a little ritual energy, because after you write the letter, you can burn it, you can trash it, you can rip it up. For the ones that are a little more positive, like I personally write unsent letters to my grandmother who's passed a lot. So I have like a little mailbox that I tuck all of those letters into, so that energetically spirit can get them to her. um, but it's knowing you said what you said and now you can move forward. And when it comes to working with your cards in that aspect, sometimes a really positive card can also tick you off. Sometimes, I'll pull the 10 of cups and be like, okay, but where is that? Where's my happiness? Where is my beautiful rainbow with children dancing underneath of it? Where is that for me? So I would write a letter being like, 10 of cups, what's up with this? Why am I not being rained down with the blessings of my labor in the way that you're kind of showing me that I should be? Um, so sometimes it can help vent some frustrations about particular energies, and how you kind of just want to put that. Sometimes you just want to put a card in their place. It's almost like putting it in a little card jail. Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. So the prompt that I used for this one is write a letter to your favorite tarot card or oracle card, whatever card is just like, when I get this card, I get excited. I get hype about it. Okay. And express how much wisdom it's brought into your life and into your readings. And every time you write a unsent letter, it is so beautiful to um, write how you feel afterwards. And especially when you're writing some of the harder letters, you can really feel what emotions you're holding in that space of those memories, of those people, of those situations. Um, because you don't always just have to write a letter to a physical person or a spirit. You can write it to literal energies of, I'm writing a letter to money. I'm writing a letter to my dreams that never came true. I'm writing a letter to, this ancestor that I never met, that I feel like they're trying to pass along wisdom, but I need to bridge, I need to make a pen pal situation start happening. So all of these prompts are just so versatile once you really understand how to use all of them. So this is one that we are going to jump into interacting and being interactive. So this is a connective dialogue. Okay. And it is a prompt to have a conversation about a topic in which you are yourself and the voice of the card or the energy or whatever you're trying to communicate with at the same time. And this activity really helps you engage in a literal conversation with the cards that you pull. And it also allows you to hear both sides of the story, to gain clarity and understanding and acceptance. And it's also really helpful in tuning into specific questions and connecting your intuition, because you have to trust all of the responses that you're getting from the other side. So I use the dialogue prompts a lot when I am communicating with my spirit team, because I'm a little hard headed. And sometimes I kind of ignore the subtle signs and symbols that they send to me. So sometimes I'm just like, okay, let's just talk it out. Let's just talk it out. And normally it's just my grandmother telling me to take out the trash. So um, let's have a conversation between you and the star card. Okay. And I'm going to give a couple minutes. Actually, let me see on my other side. Have a Okay, now we're going to do the star card. So have a conversation with the star card. So you are you, and you are also the star card. You can either have a specific question, you can have a specific intention or a direction that you want the dialogue to go, or you can simply say, "Hey, star, I just want to hear what you have to say," and see what flows and what comes out from there. So we're going to give it 4 minutes. Okay. 4 minutes, guys. And then I'll ask one person to share. I think one person's always enough. That's you get the point at that point. So 4 minutes, and then we will jump into just like a little sharing moment together. All right, 2 more minutes. Dive deep into this conversation. Really allow it to take you somewhere potentially unexpected. And especially with the star card, really allowing it to maybe ask what its a little darker side is. What is the star portraying when it's not shining and beautiful? Okay, can I have one brave, beautiful spirit share their dialogue between them and the star card? Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
I'm Debbie. I haven't spoken at all weekend, so it's nice to be part of. Yes, a little bit open, but I'll go for it. I've written, "Hello, Star. I remember you, and I yearn for your energy and direction. I trust you and where you will lead me. Whole when I am with you, and your brightness shines through me when I can step away from the mundane. Please shine on me. Please never leave me, and please shine bright and lure me up and away into the unknown and teach me."
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Julie, do you want to share too?
Mine was more of the dialogue style. Me, I can't focus on land and water at the same time. The star, then do one thing at a time. Me, but how do I prioritize? The star, will pour some water first. Me, I'm scared of sinking. Star, you might need to immerse yourself completely. Me, please help me take the first step.
I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. and the star is right there to just let you, it's there. I almost see it like you're like, I'm afraid to drown. And it's like, I gave you floaties, like you're gonna be okay. And just the feeling of like maybe immersing yourself completely. That's beautiful. That's deep. I love that. So, all right, let me go back to my thing. Okay, so I always love the dialogues. They're so fun. They really just have such a beautiful, beautiful energy to them. Um, and it really allows you to go deep. All of these, like I said, you kind of notice where you start swaying into almost a bit of a trance. So I actually learned all of these techniques while I was going through hypnotherapy training, and they're considered cognitive um, journaling techniques. So it is basically being able to consciously be in a trance, almost like when you're meditating in a sense, or when you're using your imagination in a sense. That is a conscious trance. So you can start kind of feeling yourself swaying into that like subconscious space while your eyes are open and you're alert. And I think that that at the core is what tuning into your intuition is like. So the next activity is a sentence stem. And this is where you start a sentence and you leave it nice and open ended, and you finish it over and over and over again with different endings. And you want to do this until literally you cannot think of another ending. I have done this and filled like 1 or 2 pages of different endings. And excuse me, this activity really slowly allows you to shift from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And the more endings that you give to the sentences, the more space your intuition has room to speak. And sometimes you might get down to the last ending for the sentence, and the entire energy has shifted. And you are really getting deeper into the self, or into the card, or into the message. And this allows you to see where your energy may differ externally from internally, or where, a card might have a surface message, but there's something real deep underneath of that. So, the example that I give is, to me, the moon card means pay attention to my dreams. Don't get caught up in the illusion or confusion. Things might not be what they seem, so dig deeper. Use your intuition to get the answers you seek. So, when you get further and further down, it's almost like the first answer is, how's the weather today? And the last answer is more like, so the energy and frequencies of this reality are literally pulling apart at the seams as we speak. And it's very much so like diving into that aspect of things. So the prompt that I gave is, the things that seem to trigger the devil card are. And I always pull the devil card, when I'm not doing too good for myself, I am consciously making the wrong choices. And it's a reminder of like, hey, you're falling back into the old patterns, and it's time to stop. So you're finishing this over and over and over again with different endings, and you're really starting to see, with this particular prompt, it would be showing you the surface level, but then the very core root cause of why the devil is triggered for you, or is triggering for you as well, whichever way that you kind of perceive it. And yeah, the all of the rest of this is the rest of the packet, and I just added tons and tons and tons and tons of prompts. So it's a lot to kind of dive into when you have the time and the space and the energy. But this one in particular, I was like, this is super cute. Um, so I would love in the forums, if you guys want to actually share what you get for this particular prompt, I would love, love, love that because it's a sprinting prompt and you are writing your fool's journey, but in as few words as possible. And I know as the healers, the teachers, the guides, the masters, the everything that we all embody, sometimes taking those huge experiences, concepts, and realities and putting them into a smaller bite to chew can be a little hard. So this is kind of the challenge of taking a grandiose concept or story and making it more like a poem. um, so that is, and then like I said, all these go on down. So thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who interacted and dove in and shared and participated. And I hope that you learn so much about yourself and your decks. And this course really inspires you to continue your healing journey. So I am going to shamelessly self promote for a moment. I create all of my own tarot and oracle decks. I've created 7 so far. They're all available on my website. And I teach a lot of different online workshops and classes. And if you love these prompts and kind of want to use them in more of a shadow work way, I do have a bunch of free workbooks on my website as well. Because sometimes it's like, I don't feel like making up what the prompt is right now. Sometimes it's fun to just have somebody give you the prompts to jump off with. So I am very, very blessed to have been invited here. And thank you so much for having me. You guys are all amazing and wonderful. And I really hope that I get to join you guys at another time and date to share more of my wonderful wisdom that I've been curating for the last 20 plus years of my life. The magic keeps you young and vibrant. So keep learning, loving, and diving into even more of your spiritual self. So again, I'm Jordan. I run and own a beautiful metaphysical business called Violet Imagery. Definitely check it out on literally any social media. I'm there spreading good vibes all the time. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have so much fun diving into these prompts and connecting with your decks and yourself. And, thank you again so much for having me.
Thanks, Jordan. You've been absolutely amazing, and you've technically set us an awful lot of homework.
I did.
So, yes, but fun
I love to give
homework.
homework.
Does anyone have any questions for Jordan? We have about 10 minutes before lunch.
Yeah.
So fire away.
Yeah,
Paul's got his hand up.
I wondered, with the way you talk about it, would you say the cards are entities you can communicate with?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
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 And that's how I always kind of perceived the fool's journey as, I am the fool. And as I'm going through these experiences, I'm meeting these kind of hard hitters of reality, and they are encompassed in this portrayal of an entity that's a core energy. And I like communicating, especially with the major arcana and the royal suits in particular, as if they are just a regular person that's here to stuff some knowledge into my head.
Yeah. Well, I always thought Uncle Al was quite right when he said there were actually things you could communicate with.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree, for sure.
Anyone else got any questions? I thought you'd be bombarded. I've neglected the chat. Does anyone put any questions in the chat that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, I've
And
been
normally,
reading off.
it's just loads of compliments.
I do strive on making everything as direct and simple as possible. So the fact that there aren't a bunch of questions means that I did my job and you guys understand what I was talking about for the last 45 minutes.
Perfect. Are you happy for me to stop the recording, Jordan?
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much.
Of course.